If you look through the FIFA archives for the 1954 World Cup qualifiers, you'll find a name that no longer exists on any modern map: Saarland, led by a young Helmut Schön, who would later become a legend for West Germany. This team played only 10 official matches in its entire history. Their story is a rare example of how post-war politics created a temporary national team that competed at the highest level of international football before disappearing forever into the history books. Welcome to the Library of Football. Today, we uncover the mystery of Europe's Forgotten 11. To understand why Saarland existed, we have to look at the map of Europe after 1945. Following the devastation of World War II, the coal-rich Saar region was separated from Germany and established as a French protectorate. It was a geopolitical no-man's land. It had its own government, its own flag, and even its own currency, the Saar franc. But while the region's political future was uncertain, its footballing identity was moving fast. In 1950, while West Germany was still banned from international competition, the tiny Saarland was officially admitted to FIFA. For a few years, they weren't just a border territory, they were a nation of 1 million people with a seat at the world's most prestigious table, ready to prove themselves on the pitch. Every great team needs an architect, and Saarland found theirs in a rising star, Helmut Schön. At the time, Schön was a talented coach who found himself on the wrong side of the new borders. Under his leadership, the Saarland national team became more than just a political curiosity. They became a tactical powerhouse. Schön implemented a disciplined, modern style of play that punched far above the region's weight. This was the true beginning of a legendary career. The man who started by managing the tiny Saarland would eventually lead West Germany to a European Championship and the 1974 World Cup title. But in 1953, his only goal was to defeat his own mentor, the West German manager, Sepp Herberger. The backbone of this national team was one single club, First FC Saarbrücken. During this era, they were one of the most feared teams in Europe. They were so dominant that they were invited to play in the French second division, which they won comfortably. Denied promotion due to French political pressure, they spent their time playing high-profile friendlies against Europe's elite, earning the nickname the best uninvited team in the world. These players weren't amateurs, they were seasoned professionals who had already faced the best clubs in the world. When the 1954 World Cup qualifiers arrived, they were ready for the challenge. The qualifying draw for the 1954 World Cup felt like a twist of fate. Saarland was placed in Group 1 alongside Norway and West Germany. This meant that the German people, separated by post-war borders, would have to face each other on the pitch for a single spot in the finals. The journey began in Oslo. On a rain-soaked afternoon, Saarland shocked the international community. After falling behind early, they mounted a ferocious comeback to defeat Norway 3-2. It was their first ever competitive win, and suddenly, the Phantom Nation was at the top of the group. The impossible was starting to look like a reality. Then came the main event, the showdown against West Germany. This wasn't just a match, it was a tactical masterclass between two men who knew each other perfectly. Sepp Herberger, the mastermind of German football, was facing his own protégé, Helmut Schön. The first leg in Stuttgart was played in front of a staggering 50,000 fans. For over an hour, Schön's Saarland frustrated the West Germans with a sophisticated defensive shape. They weren't just hanging on, they were competing. It took a moment of individual brilliance from Max Morlock to finally break the deadlock, with the match ending 3-0. But it was the return leg in Saarbrücken that truly defined this team. In front of their home crowd, Saarland played with a desperate, inspired energy. They attacked the future world champions with everything they had. Even after falling behind, they clawed a goal back to make it 2-1, sending the stadium into a frenzy. They fought until the final whistle, eventually losing 3-1. West Germany would go on to win the 1954 World Cup in the miracle of Bern, but history often forgets that their path to glory was nearly blocked by their own brothers. The miracle might never have happened if they hadn't first survived the tactical fire of Helmut Schön's Forgotten 11. By 1955, the political landscape was changing again. In a historic referendum, the people of the Saar were given a choice: stay as an independent European territory or reunite with West Germany. They chose to return home. On January 1st, 1957, Saarland officially became a German state. The Football Association folded into the West German DFB. Their final match was a hard-fought 3-2 loss to the Netherlands in 1956. The players, the fans, and the coach Helmut Schön all became part of a unified German footballing future. Today, Saarland is a footnote in FIFA's history, but for a brief 6-year window, they proved that a nation doesn't need to be large, or even permanent, to leave an eternal mark on the beautiful game. Thank you for visiting the Library of Football. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to subscribe as we continue to uncover the most fascinating stories in football history.